Okay, it is 6:02, let's say 6:02, and this meeting is now called to order. Voting members present are Katrina Strozik. Katrina, welcome to the commission. I think this is your first official
My first
meeting.
official voting opportunity.
Yes. Beverly Shoup, Deborah Chiolfi, William Kendall, Garrett Stuck, Ward Mooney, and Caroline Wolter. And so we are actually, what are we, 7? We're actually,
Full house.
it's a full commission.
A full commission?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Catherine's not
everybody, Katrina, are you a regular member or alternate?
You got
Re-
sworn
regular-
in. You're
sworn in,
a
I'm
regular, I
regular.
would expect, yeah.
She's for real.
I know Catherine Reppert is alternate, but, okay, so we're all regular members, we're all voting tonight.
Kat's not an alternate, she's sworn
I
in.
thought she was sworn in too,
She's an alternate, she's sworn in, but she is an alternate.
as an alternate.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay, the first item of business is minutes of the meeting of August 5th. And everyone should have a copy of that.
I sent it by email.
Are there any changes? I have some.
Darn it. That's my goal, to get through a meeting with no changes to the minutes.
Okay, so item 4, I think it should be noted that GS and WK visited the site prior to the meeting and agreed the building was beyond repair and not historically important.
Got it.
Item, okay. Item 5, the cedar, item 5, there's a sentence, the shed will be natural. I'd like to be a little more precise. The cedar shingles will be a natural color. The next sentence, after questions and discussion, open the discussion to the public. So it's actually an official public hearing that occurred, so I think you should use that language, open the public hearing.
I'm sorry, Garrett, could you, I'm
Yeah,
not
so-
sure I understand the,
So there's a
So-
formal part of the meeting which is called a public hearing,
yep,
and so we should use that language, open the public hearing.
okay. Do you want me to make that same change in number 4 as well, then?
No, because that was not a public hearing, so demolition delay or demolition request does not require a public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
And then I would add a sentence there just to note that there were no comments from the public. Okay, the numbering starting with the second 5 is off. That goes all the way through.
Yeah, 5 repeats, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
5, and then preliminary review is 5 again. That should be 6.
The top line of the second page, for a potential, I think the 4 is, should be deleted. The last sentence in 1985D Main Road,
Thank you.
I would strike the phrase, "the ideas of the plans and agreed with," and just say, "the commission was generally pleased with the approach." And then the last one, under the motion to go into executive session, I would insert to discuss the minutes of the executive session of July 9th, 2024. And then I would strike that bold sentence.
Strike what?
The bold
The
sentence.
bold, okay.
Yeah. That was the official one. That's all I have.
I have 2. I wanted to add the preliminary schemes as attachments. I hadn't put those in
Okay.
originally, so I wanted to put And I'll send this to you.
Okay.
It's the two things that we reviewed as preliminary were the 1985D Main Road design and the 1912 Main Road Howland Hall design. We reviewed those preliminary schemes, and I just want to add those as attachments.
Okay,
And I'll renumber everything.
And the
Accordingly.
continuation that Garrett sent to both of us, that's also going to be an attachment.
Okay.
So I'll send it
but,
in this.
but not for this one.
Oh, well,
That's
but
for the August
it's for the
14th.
August?
August 14th.
Oh, right, okay, the
Yeah.
continuance goes to that,
Right.
okay. So strike that, bring it to August.
Okay, any other changes? Do we hear a motion?
I move we approve.
I second it.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Katrina?
Katrina Strozak, aye.
Beverly Shuck, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
William Kendall, aye.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Ward Mooney, aye.
Caroline Bolter, aye.
The minutes are approved. Okay, now we have the minutes of August 14th, which was a special meeting. It was a special meeting to consider an application for a certificate of hardship from ANC Realty Trust, Robert Bronca trustee. We received a request for continuation before the meeting, but we still had to meet and vote on that. So that's what those minutes are about. The only comment here I had was to get the language exactly right as to who the applicant was. So the applicant is actually the ANC Realty Trust. And I can just send you that by email. I think we can agree.
Okay.
Just to correct that. Any other changes?
Motion to approve?
A second?
I second.
Okay, let's just do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, next item is the treasurer's report. There is no treasurer's report this month. So, on to the applications. The first item is Valentine Lane, application for certificate of non-applicability for lane repairs, presented by Caroline Cristiano. Please.
Hi, I'm working on a project to restore the end of Valentine Lane, which is in perilous condition. We don't know when it was last paved, but I'm working on behalf of 9 other lane members to see if we can restore and make it safe and up for the next 25, 30 years or so. So I'm looking for a certificate of non-applicability so that I can proceed with the repair work. If I'm granted that, then I can start working with the vendor, Daniels Asphalt, and then work on and get everybody on the lane to agree to a certain schematic that everyone buys into, and then collect checks, and away we go. It's been a couple-month project. It's taken time to work with the highway department to then find out that according to the highway department that the residents in a historic district own the sidewalks. Therefore, we are responsible for fixing it. Not sure that's necessarily the case, but at the end of the day, we'd like to, fix the common area that everybody drives into and exits from, because it's in horrible, horrible repair. I don't know if anyone has seen the pictures and the minutes.
Everyone's seen it.
Okay, great. So it's a big project. I don't think it's not attainable. It's just dotting the i's and crossing the t's and taking one step at a time, and that's where I am now.
I want to make one mention that Caroline submitted with her application copies of emails from all of the residents on the lane, so she duly represents everybody.
Yes, so everybody's given me permission to be here tonight. Doesn't mean everyone's gonna buy it off, or
Or
sign
pay
off
for it.
on the pay for it, yeah. But in order to get from point A to point B, we need to at least get this done, and then I can start working on doing that. And my plan on for the checks is to have everybody writing checks directly to the Daniels Asphalt. Don't wanna be associated with any movement of money, and that's the plan.
Do you have just one picture or plan you could share with us? Because I actually wasn't able to open
This,
the,
oh, sorry, here it is.
And actually, while you're doing that, I just want to be clear. So I
You can
have
open
your
either- oh,
name
okay.
as
This is
Caroline
the plan.
Cristiano.
Yes.
And You're a homeowner on Valentine Lane?
Yes, I am. I'm one of the
Perfect.
10. Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. I just happen to feel like this needs to be done, and most of the residents are older, and I just have the desire and the energy and think we can get it done.
So this only affects the entrance to Valentine Lane?
Correct.
is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just, what happens is, most of the time, you stop at the end of Valentine Lane, you've got the big columns here,
Mhm.
and everyone's got to stop, then you take a left, and the acceleration left
Kicks
is
all
what's
those stones,
picking
yeah.
up all the things. And someone at some point paved the cement sidewalk, and that's all coming off as well. And there's a huge hole right now in that right section, so it needs to be redone. So we can either replace the sidewalk with cement and redo the gravel, or redo the cement sidewalk and then cobble the fan. So there is two solutions, 2 price points, and hopefully I'll get 9 people to agree and move forward.
So this is the easy part.
This is the easy part, exactly. But I wanted to just do one thing at a time, so.
How long do you think it'll take?
My goal is to get this done in October. Most of the residents are already starting to pack up. We've got a couple that are there, and I'm trying to push it to the end of October so that we can avoid as much traffic. And have it done like on a Tuesday after trash, and work with, I'm even hoping that the trash company might allow me to put some of the trash barrels at the end of Valentine Lane for a week or so. This is only a couple residents, and I'm happy to help the residents bring the trash all the way up. We only have, I think, 2 real elderly on the lane, and one of them doesn't even drive, so. And I also have permission from the household at the end of Valentine Lane at the very peak that's got that beautiful garden, that if someone needs to use their driveway, because they also have an egress onto Main Road, that they can in the event of an emergency.
Nice.
So, I'm not really advertising that, but I do have that permission too. I mean, obviously, if we get this done on a Tuesday and someone has an issue with their health, the ambulance will go over it, and it's not gonna be the end of the world, and we have to be realistic. We can't shut it down completely.
So, sounds like a great project. I think it'll be a big improvement. I also think it qualifies for a certificate of non-applicability.
Yeah, it's a repair,
so
so,
yeah,
Okay.
it's a repair.
And it's a grade level.
It's at grade level.
So
Great,
so we
yeah.
generally don't
Yes, the
have.
only thing is, I was told by the town, Hartnett?
Hartnett.
Mhm.
Yeah, he just asked that the cement be 6 inches because of his past experience with a lot of the sidewalks in Fall River, I believe. So I've made sure that Daniels Asphalt knows that he's asking for the 6 inches of cement for the sidewalk.
And you also have a cobblestone apron, which will also protect.
I'm hoping,
edges,
it's
well-
only 200 more
Yeah.
per household. If we can go that route, I'm trying to be
Optimistic.
biased. You can tell where I am, so I gotta present solutions and then let the people decide.
It's great work. I think you did a great job putting this together.
Thank you.
Are the residents enthusiastic about it?
Yes, they are, and they've all seen these proposals, they've all seen the amounts. But it doesn't mean that when push comes to shove,
Right.
I gotta try though.
Do I hear a motion to?
I
motion
move
one
we
way or the other?
approve the application for CNA.
I second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Katrina Strozak, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
William Kendall, aye.
Garrett Stock, aye.
Ward Mooney, aye.
Caroline Bolter, aye.
Great,
Motion
awesome.
Caroline,
passes.
I'll do the certificate and you'll get it in the next day or 2.
Okay,
We have
thank
the
you.
building department also, you'll have a copy.
Okay, and quick question, I had a certificate of non-applicability for a tent for a wedding, which happened on Saturday. Is there anything needed to close that out, or does that just vaporize?
You just have to close out your building permit.
I didn't need one for the tent.
Yeah, you didn't
No.
need one for the
I thought you
tent.
needed a building permit for
She-
the tent.
No.
She said she
Okay.
didn't need one.
Okay.
but We did
It's
issue
not a
a
permanent structure.
CNA.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Okay.
did, so does that just vaporize, basically?
You don't need to do anything with us.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. Okay. Thank
Great
you.
music, but it was
Thank you.
never too soon.
It was great.
Yeah.
Great.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you, yeah, so thanks for your help.
Sure.
Okay, next item, 1991B, proposal to replace French doors and side lights by Patricia Sussman.
Patricia Sussman is not
Sussman.
my cousin, but I've
Okay.
heard of her.
Okay.
And do you mind if I stay here because then I don't have to swivel?
Yeah, do you mind, I mean, just standing up, so there's a microphone there and you'll be recorded?
You have to be, okay.
And could you please state your name for me?
Margaret Jacobson Siv.
Margaret Jacobson Siv.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's Jacobson
Do
hyphen
we have
S-I-V.
items?
okay.
Yes.
Yes. And this is really, I suppose, what you call light show like this. We're going to replace French doors and a glass kitchen door, which I'm rushing because they're on the south side. So that's really what it is. And it's just like we have Chris, who's our builder, who probably could be unhelpful because he could describe it better than I. He's been dealing with. I think you're
It's
going
going to be exactly like it is, like
Yes.
what I recall.
Well,
Yeah, please.
sorry. So I think I'll leave it to him,
Okay,
because I haven't really been involved, but I know that it's just replacing what was there.
right.
Yeah, there's nothing structural, it's just cosmetic. It's-
Okay, yeah, if you could just give your name for the,
My name's Chris Greaves.
Thank you, Chris.
So there's a set of French doors in one room and a single door in the kitchen. And there's also side lights alongside the French doors. And they're just rotted, just need to be replaced.
and so you're not replacing the windows above the doors, is that?
Transom?
The transoms are in
transoms?
good shape. The transoms are
Okay.
fine.
And when I talked to Patricia, weeks ago, she said that the muttons on the new doors would actually be thinner than the existing
They
ones. So
would
they-
match the transom.
Yeah.
Right now, what's there doesn't match the
Oh,
transom
that's
at all.
true, yeah.
Right, so I think that will be a big improvement, actually.
Yeah.
So Bill, so they're gonna leave the transom,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
and these muttons are gonna be, are gonna match the
Nice.
ones.
Still match.
Nice. And the product is really a nice product.
Simpson.
The Simpson door,
Yeah.
really a good product.
Okay.
I move that we,
This is a application for certificate of appropriateness, which means that it requires a public hearing, which is a chance for the public to speak. So the public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak to this project? Okay, hearing none, I close the public hearing. And any further discussion from the commission? Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move we approve.
I second it.
Okay, roll call vote.
Katrina Strozak, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chiaffi, aye.
William Kendall, aye.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Ward Mooney, aye.
Caroline Bolter, aye.
Okay, the certificate is approved.
Thank you.
Do we need
Do we need
monitors?
monitors?
Monitors, thank you, thank you. Sorry, one more item. We need monitors.
Caroline's volunteering to monitor.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know it
Caroline,
well.
And I saw
I
Beverly.
walk there every day.
You walk every day, we have our two monitors.
Okay, so Caroline and Beverly are the monitors. And what you need to do is when you start the project, get in contact either Caroline or Beverly.
And their phone numbers will be at the bottom of the certificate. You'll see their phone numbers at the bottom of the certificate as monitors, so you can contact them.
So the homeowner will receive the certificate?
Yes, yes, and it'll also be a copy on file at the building department.
Okay.
And so you contact the monitors when you're about to start the project. You contact the monitors if anything comes up, if you need to make any changes. Some changes can be approved just by the monitors. And then contact them when the project is finished.
And the monitors, just the monitor.
Pardon? The monitors just kind of keep an eye on what's being done.
Do I need to contact, I need to order these, they're a special order, so I can go ahead and order it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
Yes.
start the work until I contacted you?
Yeah.
Well, you'll need a building permit for the work, but the building department will issue that permit to you when they see that you have an approval from us.
From you?
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, next item.
Garrett, you're moving right along.
1967 Main Road, application for certificate of appropriateness to replace gutters and downspouts and repair or replace rotted fascia boards and other trim by Dennis and Ruth Rogg. Are Dennis and Ruth here? Okay. Would one of you like to come to the podium or come to the table, whichever you prefer?
You can sit
You
here
can
if
sit
it's
here
more
if you want,
comfortable. You just sit at our table.
mini picture.
Okay, so I'm going to give us an overview. So one thing that I don't think was in your pictures was any sort of plan about how the house relates to the street. So can you describe where the house is relative to the street and which sides of the house you're proposing to work on?
It would be the front part facing the street
Uh-huh.
as well as both sides of the house.
Uh-huh. And the house is right on Main Road?
It's right on Main Road,
As most
yes.
of those houses are. And it's on the west side, I guess.
Pardon?
The west side?
Yes.
It's on the
Yes.
west side of the street. Okay. And so you're replacing, so removal of wooden gutters and downspouts, also repair of rotted woodwork that is attached to or near the present gutters, replacement with aluminum downspouts and gutters appropriate to a historic home.
It doesn't have to be aluminum, whatever's recommended.
Okay.
You know.
Have you talked to a contractor yet?
No, I've called, but I have not yet.
Okay. I think, we generally prefer.
Well, I'll explain,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
explain,
go
I have
ahead.
some samples here
Yeah.
with me.
Oh,
Of course,
good.
what you're seeing here is a wooden gutter that you have now. And what we're recommending is the fiberglass gutter, which you can see here. And you can see that this is extremely durable and will last. It's made by the same process as, in fact, it's a company that makes boats, fiberglass boats. And they started making these gutters not too long ago. Actually, like about 5 years ago. And it's become really very, very popular. So it's fiberglass. And you can see, this is the wooden gutter. And you can see that there's much more water that flows through that gutter
Mhm.
than the old wooden gutter.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
So it's definitely an improvement.
Now, how does that compare to the aluminum?
In price,
No, in terms of appropriateness and,
well, the
Durability.
aluminum has the same profile.
mhm.
They all have the same profile.
And that's all better than the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wouldn't want-
They have the same design, let's say.
Okay.
And so the same design then, because they tried to replicate wooden gutters. And so, obviously wooden gutters are very expensive today in the first place, well, so is this. But this is the best product because of its longevity, also the durability in terms of something falling against it or anything, the aluminum gutter will dent.
How does it compare price-wise to the aluminum? How does it compare price-wise?
It's very expensive, it's much more. I haven't priced it, but
Then aluminum is.
Oh,
Aluminum
yes.
is the cheapest.
that's why you see aluminum gutters on all the houses. I mean, this is what is the standard today, is the aluminum. Prior to maybe 10 years ago, the commission required all wooden gutters. This didn't exist. They wouldn't allow aluminum. But it's because of that price. The aluminum has the same profile. The only problem with aluminum gutter, besides not being durable, is that it doesn't look as good. I can show you why. This is an installation of the aluminum gutter. And you can see that it's put together with these joints are put together with rivets, and you see the seam. This would be on the ends. Because the gutter is a seamless gutter. What I mean is when they come in to make it, they make it on site. And if you have a 60-foot wall, you get a 60-foot piece of gutter. But when you get to the end, they have to do this. Now, in the houses in the district, that becomes important because the design is this. Most of them are of the Federal Greek Revival style, and this is how it has to be designed. And from looking at your drawings, this is exactly what your house looks like. Because you see how they are mitered in the angles, and then they return against the wall?
Mm-hmm.
That was what you would be doing. So that's what your contractor has to do if this is approved by us. He has to repeat or replicate exactly what's on your house right now. So the difference then is those joints. Now, what you're seeing here is, this is the fiberglass gutter. Let me see, that is the fiberglass gutter as well. Okay, and so the other picture is the aluminum gutter. You see, they look very much alike.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way they're joined.
That's,
Our house is surrounded by historic ash trees, and they're not in good health.
Well, then the fiberglass gutter would be quite good.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Just,
now, which ones, there are fiberglass ones, well, I mean, aluminum ones here?
yeah, that's the aluminum right in your hand.
And this one here?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you can see the little rivets,
Oh,
and
yeah, I see it
rivets
now.
and seams in the corners. I mean, it's pretty apparent when you see
but the
it.
fact is, we
But the
do,
down, go ahead.
we have approved the aluminum gutter. I'm just saying that we would prefer this, and I think in the long run, you'd be happier with this.
Well, it sounds like it makes more sense with the tree situation.
That's right.
Now, the downspouts wouldn't, even if they were aluminum, wouldn't be an aluminum like this.
The downspouts
So it'd
would
be
be made
round,
out
right?
of metal and they'd be round.
Yes.
Mhm.
Would the metal be aluminum?
The metal would be, there are different metals that the downspouts are made of,
Okay.
and possibly even fiberglass. I don't know if they've done that yet, these companies.
Could be steel. I mean,
Yeah,
so,
they make them out of steel, metal, or the aluminum.
yeah. But
Do you have round ones, downspouts?
I do.
And what are they made of?
They're aluminum.
So they're not, they're smooth. They're,
The aluminum downspout that you see, the rectangular one, doesn't look as good as the round downspouts in terms of style and just sort of appearance. This is the common downspout
uh-huh,
that you see everywhere.
yes.
They can also be made of copper.
Well, yeah, they can be made of copper.
yeah, I have round downspouts on my house that are made of painted steel.
Yeah,
They're made of what?
Painted steel.
galvanized steel is really the standard, yeah. So
Yeah.
they're very durable.
Very durable. You know, the problem with a lot of the aluminum stuff is, you know, if a ladder falls against it, if something, you know, bumps against it, you have a dent.
So
And
you
it
can't,
becomes
you can't repair
very
it, that's
visible.
the problem
Yeah.
when it's dented. The other thing is that the strange thing is that the round gutter or downspout carries more, or just as much water as the square one. I didn't know that, but according to this old house, it, you know, for some reason, something that's round, even though the square has more square inches to it, it still carries the same amount of water. But hard to believe, but I guess it's true.
That's good.
Well, you have a choice. We can approve the aluminum if you like. And I think we could agree that if you wanted to use fiberglass, that would be fine too. Just so you
That's
don't
what I
have to
was-
come back.
That's what I was hoping,
Okay,
that either option would be
sure.
As long as you do
Awesome.
the profile that we're concerned about, then you can use either material.
And the installation is very important to us. The way that it actually repeats what I've seen in the photos that you've sent us of the house, and the way the corners are done like that, returned, mitered.
So maybe just explain it, you can't have that.
Well, this is what we don't allow. That installation right there, with, that aluminum gutter has an end cap on it. On that house, that should be returned.
You see how it doesn't wrap around? That's wrong. It has to wrap around.
Do we think it would be helpful? I mean, I get, we don't want you to have to come back, but, you know, would it be helpful in this case, as you finalize what you want, you know, to be able to say, hey, I think this is what we're doing, can you guys just tell me this is okay? Or unless you're really clear about what we need to do.
Yeah, I think it, I'm not very comfortable approving something so vague. And I think usually when people come in, they've talked to a contractor, they have a specific proposal, they have some idea of the pricing, of what they want. And usually, I mean, we suggest that people come for a preliminary review so that we can have kind of an informal discussion about that.
You mean what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you've actually submitted a formal application.
I see.
So once you've submitted a formal application, things become a little more complicated, in the sense that we actually have to, like, formally continue the process. So if you come for a preliminary review, we can, you know, talk about it, maybe give some advice, then you can go back and explore the options, and then come back to us with a formal proposal. Anyway, it's not a,
So Garrett, in this case,
Yeah.
because, you know, you guys didn't necessarily know that you could have done that, do we need to have a continuance so that they can, based on what you shared, now you guys have a little bit more direction, and so then you can talk to a contractor, show them some pictures, and then you can come back and say, okay, I got the
You know,
plan.
decide which you want. Decide if you want the fiberglass
Mhm.
or the aluminum.
Mhm.
How old are your gutters now? Do you know?
No, I don't.
You never replaced them before.
No.
Mm. And they're
No,
wood?
they're in bad shape.
Yeah, they're wood, right?
Pardon?
They're wood, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal to have a continuation.
Okay.
And, you know, I think now you've got some ideas here from us, and I think it would be good for you to talk to a contractor and get some specific proposals.
And if you want to have your contractor call me and I can explain these details.
Okay.
So let's do a continuance.
Okay,
And I'll get you
Um,
Bill's number.
Do you need to,
So-
do you need to open up a?
yeah, so I think even if we're doing a continuation, we have to have a public hearing. So I hereby open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on this application?
I have one question, but it's on the topic. Is in between fiberglass and aluminum, is there not also a PVC option where the profile is exactly the same?
PVC?
Yeah.
No, they don't make them out of PVC. They do? I don't know about that.
I wouldn't be surprised. It
Yeah.
seems like a material.
There's a downside because PVC takes on, if it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, it takes on nice green, a lime green mold. It's a very special thing to clean off. But it's, anyway, that's just a,
So another option you might explore, PVC. We're not very familiar with it.
And sir, can I just get your name for the record?
John Kennedy.
John Kennedy, thank you.
No, the builders that have have come in with the fiberglass. The builders have come here for gutters. That's why I don't know about the
Fiberglass is
PVC.
great. There's an investment, that's great.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, so I hereby close the public hearing, and now we can either discuss this further or could hear a motion.
I move we continue.
Second,
Okay, let's do a roll call
So we
vote.
will, so we're gonna move to continue it to the next meeting? to
Yeah,
the-
and I guess we need to make sure that you agree to the
You agree to
continuation.
that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
No, yes, you have names of contractors that,
just a couple. Do you have a list of people who have done this?
we don't.
Okay.
And we don't really, we really have a policy where we don't recommend builders. You know, you might leave someone out or something that could cause problems, so that's why we don't.
Mhm.
But you find out who's working in the district and, yeah.
There's somebody working
Talk
up
to a
at the
couple
church,
neighbors.
he's got a sign out.
What's that?
There's someone up at the church doing repairs, he's got a sign out.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so I just want to put this motion on hold for a second. So we should agree on a date. Do you want to come back next month? Do you want to have 2 months to come back? I mean, we could say 2 months, and if you got a bit earlier than that, you could come back sooner.
And what about if we say 1 month and we don't have everything we need?
Then we would have to vote again at the next meeting to continue
But
it
would we
again.
need to appear at the first one?
I guess if we had a letter from you, we could just process it that way. Yeah, so we could just continue it to the next meeting. So,
Why don't we schedule it for 2 months?
You want to
I
do
was
the
thinking because of
continuation
the
for 2
weather.
months?
Pardon?
You wanted to do the continuation for 2 months, so you have the latitude?
Don't you think?
Well, I was just thinking of the
There are a
weather
lot of-
too.
Details that
You can come back in 1 month if you have all the information.
Yeah, if you have the
It's
information.
not a problem, just, it's easier than undoing, coming back and not being ready in a month and, wanting to come back again.
So you're saying 2 months?
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
set the date for 2 months, but if you're ready before the
All right.
next meeting, then come.
Okay.
just appear.
We'll tell us, you
Yeah.
tell us you're gonna come and we'll put you on the agenda.
Okay.
Well, I don't think we can do that
Yeah.
because this is a public hearing.
yeah, you'd have
You-
to,
you-
you'd have to
because-
tell us
Do
2
the
weeks,
notice.
2 weeks
We'll call our
before,
neighbor.
2 weeks
Because
before.
notices are,
So you can send out the notice.
Exactly.
right.
So should we do for the 2 months then,
Yes,
okay, you're agreeing to that,
yes.
okay.
Okay, so can I hear a specific motion then about,
Okay, so I move,
Not from me.
I move we continue this item at the, let's see, the October meeting, November meeting?
till the November?
Yeah,
November. Do you know the
November.
date of the November meeting?
We're gonna discuss it, but right now, I think it
It's
is
the
November 4th.
So
November 4th.
let us say the November meeting, because it will almost certainly be moved.
Well, we're supposed to actually put a specific
date.
date on the continuation
Okay, so
form.
let's put November 12th, I think. So I think November 11th is Veterans Day. So the issue is,
I have it down as November 4th.
yes, but I'm going to be away November 4th.
Oh,
And,
There's a topic later in the agenda to change the
Yeah,
November meeting.
yeah.
That's why.
so let's put it for November. Let's put it for November 12th.
November 12th, okay.
now, would you expect the contractor to come with us?
It would be very helpful, or a set of drawings from the contractor. Measured drawings, very specifically what he's going to do.
Yeah, and most of the contractors who've worked in the district have been here before, so they're familiar with the process.
The important thing to us is that it's done properly and it's a like for like. What I mean is what's there, you're gonna replicate. Because what I see, it was done properly when the wooden gutters were installed, so you're gonna be installing these gutters precisely the way the wooden gutters are. We just wanna make sure of that. We wanna have something in writing with that application, to attach to that application that says that.
Yeah, of course, the downspouts would be different, not like for like. But,
Well, no,
anyway,
Would
your
those
point
be
is,
a separate
the-
meeting?
the downspouts, no,
No.
part of the same proposal, but they should be
but
round.
he should just, the contractor should include the downspouts.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Everything,
hope so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, we would welcome him to be here, sure.
Pardon me?
We would welcome him to be here, that would be even better.
Okay, so we have a
What's
motion.
the address for this?
1967.
Did we have a second for that motion?
Second.
Oh, Bill?
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Katrina?
Katrina Strozak, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
William Kendall, I.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Ward Mooney, aye.
Caroline Bolter, aye.
Okay, the motion for continuance passes,
Can you sign
and
that?
we'll see you on November 12th, I expect, if not sooner.
And what the continuation says is that the date on there in October, you have to have your materials to us by that date in October. It gives us time to do the notice period.
So that's October
That's your
28th,
outside date of when you have to have your materials together.
10/28.
Yes,
You know, I don't think we have to send notices out with a continuation.
continuation?
No, because the people that would be interested in the abutters would be here at this meeting.
We are.
Right, and then they, because of what we're doing at this meeting,
They
would
would
know they
know.
would come to the next meeting.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
point.
what's been
That
done before.
has been my experience.
Yep,
Yeah, I
okay.
think you're
So we're
right
good.
that it bears checking. I'll check it.
Right, so we have the continuation. And it's been approved by us.
Terrific.
Okay. Okay, good.
Very nice. of you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay, the next item, 2002 Main Road, application to demolish and rebuild 2 chimneys. A request to withdraw this application was received on September 3rd, and according to our rules, we have to vote on whether to accept the withdrawal.
Motion to accept the withdrawal.
I second.
Okay, roll call vote?
Katrina Strozak, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
William Kendall, I.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Ward Mooney, aye.
Caroline Bolter, aye.
What was the reason for the withdrawal?
The reason was that we, I recommended to him that he talk to a different mason. He had lined up a project with a mason from Lowell,
Yeah,
who I think did not have any experience with historic houses.
yeah.
And it's, it's a rather dramatic thing to tear
Right.
down and
Well, that
rebuild a
was-
chimney.
That was a very good move, because when I did see that in an email, and pictures of the brick that was going to be used, and that was not the proper brick at all.
Right, right, yeah. So I advised him to get another opinion, which I think he did, but he hasn't. The project now is not fully developed.
One of the projects was the Handy House chimney restoration, and that was, if you look at that, that's done correctly.
Mhm.
Matches the type of brick and everything. There was a lot of work put into finding those bricks. And, Tony Millam was in charge of that, so you could tell this person, they could contact Tony.
Okay. Okay, anyway, it's withdrawn, and he'll come back to us at some point in the future with a revised plan. Okay, general business, monitors reports.
Yes, Russell Baker called me. He was approved. He lives on Drift Road, and he called me to say that they are starting work
Mhm.
on what was approved. And then he will call when it's completed.
Do you remember the address?
No,
I'll find it. 1913 Drift Road.
1913.
Okay, any other monitors reports?
I reached out to the architect for, was it 1893 Main Road, James Burns and Lucy Owen. They've started their work, and Katrina noted that to me, so I reached out to the architect to say, please let us know what you're doing, because it obviously has started. So
Mhm.
she'll get back to me. It's Ashley is the architect, so I'm
Okay.
sure she'll get back to me.
Is it 1893 Main?
1893 Main Road,
Okay.
yes. So they've started their renovations to the main house and the studio.
Okay.
I also got a call from the gentleman we gave CA to last month, with the little, the shed that he's going to
Mhm.
be building.
Mhm.
He put a stake in the yard to show where it's gonna go.
Mhm.
So there's really nothing to review yet,
Mhm.
except that he told me the stake is now there. So
And
I
who
told
are
him to
who
put
are
a
the
mark on
monitors?
the wall, because the stake is gonna move as soon as they do the pad
Right,
for the shed.
right,
Deb and Kat are the monitors.
Yes.
okay.
So he did call me to tell me, his progress, but there's really
Okay.
nothing to review yet.
Okay. Any other monitors' reports? Okay, next item, discussion of changing the date of the meeting scheduled for November 4th, 2024. So, I'm sorry to say I will not be here on November 4th, and I would like to be at the November meeting. So I would like to change it. and-
Haven't we changed to the 12th?
Well, we sort of guessed that that's what we would change it to.
Well, why don't I move that we
I
change it
guess.
to the 12th?
So the 11th is Veterans Day.
12th is Tuesday then?
The 12th, the Tuesday, and I know that the town hall basement is usually open for that, so, any concerns about moving the meeting to that date?
No?
So the October meeting is October 7th, so that's, I guess that would put it 5 weeks after the October 7th meeting, which is, I mean, it often happens. Can be problematic depending on when we receive proposals, because we have a 45-day window, but I think we can manage that. Okay, do I hear a motion
Motion to accept?
to move the date of our November 4th
Yes.
meeting to November 12th?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, any other new topics?
Yes, I have a couple.
Okay.
One is the memorial, the Mariners Memorial, but
Mhm.
I'll get to that. The other is the Wharf House, the building that fell in the water.
Mhm.
You know, there's 3 properties. Has anybody been able to get in touch with the owner? I thought Betty
Oh, yeah.
Slade was gonna be here.
Yeah, I think they have been in touch, and in fact, the owner has been down at the house cleaning it up and mowing the lawn. So, I mean, she's aware of what's going on, and I don't know the details of
Which
that,
house are you talking about?
but-
Snake Arena.
Wharf House.
Yeah.
The one that fell in the water.
Oh, yeah.
She's mowing
All right.
the lawn around the house that's
She
showing
had-
the water.
The next one up,
The next one over?
Yeah,
where the storage
which
units
is
are.
actually a
Right,
roadway.
she put yellow tape around the house, the building that's falling into the water.
She did that.
Well, her son and her grandson, a young
Yeah.
man who was with her, did it.
There's a question of tax arrears on it. I'm just wondering if, at some point, the Historic Commission can step in and take some purview over what's going on with all those properties.
Yeah, it's a good question.
We have no
It's a good
right.
question.
Would
Yeah.
it be a
We don't know
taking
why.
by the town? Is
Well,
that how that
I think the town is exploring, I mean, I don't know much about this, so
We're speculating here.
but we're speculating. That I think the town is exploring various options. I think that, it seems to be a safety hazard. If there were a hurricane, it would be a problem.
I mean, they're extremely important historical buildings
Yeah,
for the character of the
do you
town.
know anything about that particular building that's fallen into the water, the history of it?
I don't, but the Wharf House I know a little
Yeah,
bit about.
yeah, the Wharf
Um,
House is,
yeah.
right,
And, and they are really going to see, all of them.
right.
So I just, and they're in arrears, and if we have an opportunity, I think we should make it clear that, we want to have some say in it.
Right. So I think there are some members of the public who are here would like to talk about this. Yeah, come on up.
Your choice.
Yeah, either way.
So are you officially recognizing this as the public?
This is not a public hearing, no, this is just members of the public who I'm
So this is
recognizing.
just-
Yeah,
Discussion of.
we're welcoming
topics
members
that
of the
weren't on
public to
agenda. Okay.
comment on this issue.
What are
Hi.
names?
Names, please.
Will McCullough, Richard Armstrong.
Will McKella,
McCullough, MCCULLOUGH.
thank you for spelling that. And I got yours.
Some people don't, so. I can bring everyone up to date a little bit about where it is, I think, with the town. We've talked with Sue Brayton a couple of times, and the property is in arrears tax-wise. And she apparently has a lot of different properties, and sort of keeps the town happy by supplying a little bit of money for one or the other each year. That's the way they've been sort of managing it, the town has. Recently, she's been given the building inspector served her with some kind of papers. I don't know what they are, but he told me that she's been served with papers. In fact, he handed them right to her. And so that's what, and she explained to us that if the town takes it over, they attach all kinds of fees and penalties and liens and all that kind of thing. And it's quite a long process. It's about a 2-year process for the town to actually get a hold of the property, and then it goes to auction. We're interested, my son-in-law really, because he's in the boat building business and interested in marina kind of thing, and maybe carrying on the business the way it was, rebuilding it accordingly. And it was kind of our hope that you would support that effort and think that that's the right thing to do. And we find out if it's not the right thing to do, maybe it's a good time to find out right now. But that would be the intent.
Well,
Right,
Rich,
do you want to say something?
well, when you say you would rebuild it as it was, or similar to what it was, I mean,
Good question. These are the things we've sort of.
These are the reasons we're here. My goal with the property would to be get the buildings out of the water, return the buildings that are there to a usable state, a safe state, and build wooden skiffs, river skiffs, and maintain boats, and use the marina as it was once used.
well, I mean, this certainly would be fine with us.
Good.
Beautiful. I mean, that's the best case scenario,
Well, I think it's a case.
unless you have a donut shop.
I
So
mean, I
that
think
was
it's
what we were hoping, and, and maybe, I don't know who can help with this, or if anyone can help, but one way around this whole thing is to get the word to her, the owner, that this is a much easier path than going through the town and having it taken over and go to auction and all that. And we'll make a nice deal right now, give her she gets some money, she gets this whole thing behind her. But it's really hard to sort of get to her, so.
Right.
And we're here really, we're just trying to gather information and try to learn more about it and
So-
the process.
So you're here to get a preliminary indication from the commission that if you did pursue this, and these are the intended uses, that you'd be on the right path.
You said that perfect, took the words out of my mouth in a much better way than I could.
Otherwise, you really don't want to waste a lot of time and money dealing with the owner if you're going to come before us and we're going to say no.
That's very well said, yes, exactly.
And
So you need an opinion around here. And I don't know what we can do without any
Yeah,
plans.
so our purview really is over, the architectural elements.
Sure.
of-
But is there anything that you guys can do as the historical commission to move this along? Because as of right now, the history is literally crumbling into the river.
Yeah, no, there are things we can do. We can, so we're responsible, for example, for the listing of those buildings on the Massachusetts state inventory of historic properties. We also have sort of a general charge to help preserve the history of Westport. And so,
I want to give you these. These are the design guidelines for the historic district.
yeah.
And if
then-
you can stay within those kinds of intentions, you could get a sense of what we would be likely to approve.
And then looking for, yeah, of
Right.
course.
And it's your intent to purchase these?
If it were to come for sale, we would certainly try to.
Well, is that what basically your objective is to contact her and make an offer?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, all right.
Which the town would be out of it at that point. It's just a private
Yeah, it would
sale.
solve a lot
It would solve a lot of
of
problems
problems for a lot of
the town,
people.
solve a lot of problems for everyone.
It's just getting to her to negotiate something.
Exactly right.
And
Getting that key person to sort of say, look, there's a better way. much better way to handle this.
Right.
Have you had any conversations with her yet?
I actually, we were down the other day and I met her.
Oh.
She was there in her truck and I said, you know, we're kind of interested in this property, you own it? And she said, oh yeah, I own it. She said, I'll put your name on the list, it's a long, long list.
Hmm.
And then the list sort of fell into the, you know, somewhere in the truck somewhere, probably never to be seen again.
Hmm.
Our name, I remember my name and number.
Mhm.
And what's your background as you
Mine?
approach this? Yeah, like you wanted, do you do boat building now?
Yes.
Are you-
Yes.
Are you established anyplace else right now, or?
Right now, I'm working out of his barn, and I've built 4 skiffs now, and got another one on the way. And I spent my whole childhood and early adult life working at Gannon and Benjamin out on Martha's Vineyard. They build anything from skiffs to 65-foot schooners. So my background's all in wooden boats. And Richard,
Strictly wood boats. No-
strict, well, I did work at a fiberglass shop for about 6 months, and then I was done with that. And Richard's been a very accomplished yachtsman his whole life, and we just really love that property and want to preserve the tradition that's happened there.
I know she was looking for an attorney. I don't know if she got one. I assume she got one somewhere, not where she.
I could make a good suggestion.
So are you interested in the building that's
But-
falling into the water specifically, or
Well, the whole property.
We're interested in the whole
the
property.
whole property?
The garages are, and
Which is comprised, what,
Yes.
3 buildings then, or 4?
It's quite a few.
Are
We're
there?
not certain if the garage thing is part of it.
I think
it must
I
be.
actually
I think
think
it's
it might be.
not.
It's in the same state of
No, on
disrepair,
there.
which makes us think it is.
Except for the
On the town card, it's not.
It's not,
It's not.
yeah.
Mhm.
But what I'm thinking is, if there was an attorney, that it would be, you know, he could be the middle person too, or she, and make an approach to that person with what your intentions are. Write them up. You know, it's always good to have something in writing. And she's going to be obstinate. Maybe she's not going to want to see it. But if he could talk sense into her, he could, you know, make a good suggestion. It might help. But we got to find out who the attorney is.
I don't think there's any other way to get to it, really. I mean, that seems to be what I've heard, all the sort of digging around we've done about it.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, Richard, John Kennedy, on the point, right. You might want to check the property records in New Bedford just to see the technical owner. There has been some talk.
There's some trusts.
Yeah, I don't know what the truth of the discussion is, but that the current, Mrs. Leach.
Yes.
Has a life interest and that there's a remainder, yeah, that goes to the children of her late husband.
Right.
That I've heard repeated by a number of
Yeah,
different
we've
people
heard.
without myself looking into it. So I'm not that interested, but it was interesting dinner talk.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering why anybody would look at a jewel like that, just go to rack and ruin all this time. The vending machine still works, even when it's covered with lines. That was about the only thing. So you might want to just
Did the
be
record
aware
of
that
the
that
New
might-
Bedford, did you say?
Well, yeah, the accurate information was.
About ownership.
And it's searchable, yeah, at least just to see the name of the owner, because that trust, then there may be a separation of life interest and.
Sure.
and remainder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It
could-
wouldn't
you
be
can-
in Bristol, no, for the record?
For my house,
Thank
It's New Bedford Registry of Deeds,
New
yeah.
Bedford
and-
Registry
and
of
it's
Deeds?
online, and
Oh.
so you can see if there's
Most
a,
everything's online.
most everything is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to be safe, you wanna actually go down there. But if, you know, if there's something recorded on the deed, then it would appear in that registry.
It's all public knowledge.
49,
Yeah,
251.
it's all public.
May not
The-
be on the deed.
Yeah, I mean, what might not be, it
51.
might reference an agreement. The agreement isn't necessarily public, but it might reference an agreement.
An agreement, yeah, which we need to dig
47,
into.
49,
Yeah.
51.
But getting back to the building that's falling into the water, I mean, this is something we may have to deal with in the short term, because, you know, if the town wants to demolish that, if we condemn it or something,
That's the
then we would
next
have to
one.
You get on
Yeah.
my
Um,
phone, that's my.
give them approval
Mhm.
to demolish it. And so that's why I'm kind of curious about your interest in that particular
57
building.
and 59.
In that one?
in that particular building, the one that's falling into the water, I mean,
Oh.
is that a significant part of your ideas
GIS.
for the
No,
property?
we don't even know what happened. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny little
That's
building.
property
Yeah,
cards.
it's a tiny building.
Looked like
GIS.
Old stone outhouse almost.
Yeah, I don't know the
Mhm.
history of that building.
An old
It's not,
locker or
it's
something.
not significant.
Okay, so this
To-
would
to
not
an
be,
operation.
not be a significant part of your,
No, it'd be-
of your ideas for
No.
that property?
No.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
The garages are not part of that property.
They are, okay.
That's Susie Kim's property to the north.
And does it stop, her property stop right at the doors of the?
I think it does.
There's
I think
some-
that,
That was about the driveway, sorry, parking.
that lot is kind of like cut in half.
Well, there's some, Brenda said that there's a public way on that lot,
Oh.
actually, that nobody knows about, that's not all that wide, but it's like 4 or 5 feet wide.
Hmm.
55, 57,
So it's less buildings than
59,
we thought.
Eve, Leach, successor trustee.
And that's the one that fell in, the one right by the,
That little.
Harbor
Yeah,
Master.
Yeah, that little one.
Let's see if
Right,
that's also
right,
the
Harbor-
successor
Harbor
trustee.
Master is there.
And I wonder what the zoning is there.
Different
Do you know, is it
And this one.
some kind of commercial zoning?
Do you know?
I think it is commercial zoning because it's been. a
it'll say
commercial-
right here on the card, right?
Should say
There's
it on the
two
card.
commercial
The town's the
enterprises
butter.
down there
I don't
already.
think
So
it
this
was
is what the
there's a
end.
building.
We have the Oyster House, the Upper Chopin.
Right there. See how it goes on to the town line there?
Yeah.
This is all a collection of the little buildings right here. Yeah, and it's owned by the.
Shorty Leach.
Yeah, it goes right.
Its zone is NHR.
Just show him this. This is your
NHR? What is that?
property line of these little buildings. You can see the buildings.
Oh, I see,
how
okay,
they're-
Historic residential.
You see how one of the lines
Yeah, we
goes
saw that.
right through a
Right through that
town-owned
building.
building.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. So there's, the town is the abutter.
Mm.
You can see how it goes through the town shellfish office
You
that's
know,
owned by the town.
Hmm,
The
You
one, the
said
property
you
line.
would
yeah.
So that's
Reserve
interesting. It's
the
owned by this
building
trust.
at
All
Bel
its
Air.
collection
Oh, we
is
do
in
that.
exchange for
Eve
right
Leach
of first
Trust.
Yeah,
refusal.
but it looks like the driveway,
It's used for, in exchange for.
Maybe
Right
that's
of
a
first
right of way or
refusal.
something. But that's the shellfish
Yeah.
office there. Huh, interesting. Need some research there. So this is how that collection of buildings are owned, but look at how the property line isn't really where the buildings are.
And
yeah, so I think, I mean, I can't
This is Kim.
speak for the commission, but it sounds like people are
Kim, Susie,
open to this
Kim.
idea, and if, we would support you however we could.
Well, that's
And-
good to know, good starting point.
Yeah, and just to get back again to the historic district, so a lot of what we do here involves deciding what people can or can't do in the historic district, but we do have this other role as the historical commission. So we're a historic district commission
Right.
with purview over the historic district, but we're also the historical commission of Westport.
For the town.
And so there, in that role, we actually have a larger purview or larger charge, to sort
Sort
of.
of use you for advice and not just
Right. and-
policing. in
Yeah,
other words.
Exactly,
That's
to,
great.
to
Good
help,
to know.
help develop historical resources and
Yeah,
and
that's
preserve
great.
them. So, we can definitely be helpful with that.
If anyone has any ideas for us about how to go forward or someone to talk to, or that would be, would open ears.
Okay.
So, who have you tried so far? Building inspector?
Building inspector, the gal,
Super
The
Eighton?
assessor.
the assessor, a couple
Oh,
times.
assessor.
Talked to Mike Sullivan about it, just because he's digging around a little bit about who to talk to.
Mhm.
Just trying to make it known
Sean
that
Leach.
this is a better,
Sean Leach.
I've emailed him but got nothing back.
I think Sean
Pretty
is,
retired now, isn't he pretty?
I think they're completely estranged.
Yes.
Yeah, the building inspector was in touch with Sean Leach, and Sean couldn't help. I think Beverly's,
You might know the history.
Beverly's idea of, actually coming up with a proposal that maybe you could hand to her.
To the town.
No, hand
To the owner.
hand to the
Yeah,
owner.
try to deal with the
Well,
owner.
Yeah, if you could get the owner's lawyer, I think it might be more
That's the
effective.
thing,
but,
Yeah.
I don't think she's, I don't think she's really
I
that
don't think
approachable.
you're gonna get anywhere.
She's not
with
gonna
her.
get, it's not rational.
Do you know how many people are looking at it?
No. She said there's a
Well-
long list. and
Right.
maybe
However,
there isn't.
money speaks louder than lists.
True.
Well, this gentleman said something about remainder men, so you might want to see if you can find out who the heirs are.
The trustee.
Who the trustee represents the remainder men, so
Sure. Sure,
if you could talk to the trustee,
Yeah.
that they have fiduciary duty to the
Sure.
remainder man,
sure.
And to the, and to the life
and to
interest,
the
if that's in
life
fact the
interest
case.
person as well.
Yeah, if that.
The ultimate
information is
recipient, in
correct.
other words.
Well, if there's a life interest, it's just during that person's life, and
Mm.
then when that person passes, the remainder men become the new beneficiaries.
Mm,
So there's a
mm.
line of people
Sure.
you might wanna investigate,
Sure.
who benefits from this?
Mhm.
And if you
Good to
can't
know.
get to the current owner who has the life interest, then perhaps the remainder men. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, I don't wanna give you legal advice here, but I'm
Right.
just saying, like, as an approach,
Well, it's a good, it's good
figure out
advice.
all the parties that have an interest in that.
Sure.
So I was thinking
Yeah, that's-
Sean might be a resource. He may be estranged, but he may have the history of what
You
the
probably
deal
knows more
is,
than
right?
anyone else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think, Rich, that if anyone is seriously interested in it, they would, like you, come to approach us. Because they want to find out what they can do with it.
Sure.
And we would be looking at it as what is the best thing that can be done with it.
Mm.
And so your approach most likely would be the best thing that can be done with it.
Mm.
I mean, if they're going to remove the buildings and build a house, it might,
There'd be quite a lot of scrutiny.
Mhm.
right,
Right.
compared to your project.
Right.
Preserving the local character is really what
It's
They're all
exactly
about.
exactly what we want to do.
So you have that leverage then.
Sure. Sure.
Most, when people buy a property like that or are thinking of it, they will come to us first. Because they don't want to have, plans for it, purchase it, and find out they can't do it.
Sure.
Mhm.
So that's why we could be very helpful.
Well, this is why we're here right now, really, to get the lay of the land, so to speak.
Yeah.
You might want to talk to the zoning board as well, just depending on what you think would happen in terms of, traffic, and because there definitely have been lots of conversations about
Mhm.
that at the point.
Did Michael Sullivan have a view at all?
Well, he was gonna sort of search around to see if he knew what way in, so to
Right,
speak,
yeah.
with Miss Leach. Or if he knew anyone that might.
Right,
Or he's just gonna sort of be thinking about it for now. We're really trying to let people know that there's a better way, and we wanna we wanna make it happen. And the more people that know, I think, maybe the more pressure is on the town, what are we doing with this place, and we gotta get it behind us, and who knows, maybe she'll just decide selling it's a much easier way out than going through this 2-year, auction and so forth.
Well, also, if she sees the town is actually putting pressure on her, which maybe they're not yet, but if
They're
the
not
town
yet.
does that, then she might see
True.
this as a much more viable option.
True.
Mhm.
Yep, all those things, every little bits sort of
Yeah.
stack up and help.
You have to make her care, about preserving the property. She wants to honor her husband, but she has a memorial for him out there, which might be good to say in your letter too. We
Mm,
know how important it is for you to carry on.
Good
You
idea.
have a memorial for him,
Good
which,
point.
just
Mm.
got mowed. And, so we want to continue that also. And we would call it the George Leach,
Marina.
whatever,
Mhm.
Marina.
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be nice to
Very good point. Very good.
create
good
some kind
ideas.
of naming opportunity for her, which
Sure.
would really maybe get her over the top.
Yep.
Is she in
Thank you
good
for
health?
wonderful advice.
Is she in good health?
No, not particularly.
How old a woman is she?
Gosh, I don't really know.
I mean,
I
thought
think,
she was
I think we're,
70.
I think
We're
we're,
getting off
I
track
think we're
here.
getting a little off track here.
Speculating on the woman's age.
And we are.
Serve
we are-
wine soon.
That has historic significance.
Yeah, just
We're talking
We're
reminder
not gonna
that
try to
this-
answer that
This
question.
meeting is being recorded, so,
Does anyone know what the next steps for the building that is in the water is?
Yeah, didn't the town?
They've got to be removed.
I don't know.
They've got to be removed.
And the
Yes.
town will
Safe.
step in if she doesn't
The
do
town-
that soon?
The town will do it. And the
Well,
town will
if
charge
it-
her.
If it's a safety hazard, then the town has the right to
yeah,
Remediate.
demolition.
I mean, I would say the whole place is a safety hazard.
Yes.
yeah.
You can make that argument, yeah.
That's right.
I think, it's possible that if that building is removed, it couldn't be put back. So, she may be trying to preserve it somehow.
I don't think so.
I don't think the yellow tape is
No, I don't know what she's thinking, but I think it probably is true that once it's removed, it can't.
It's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
I think there have been some discussions around, having somebody come in and give quotes around removing it, whether they get a crane or if they bring in a barge or.
Right.
Mhm.
Would it be useful for our group to point out this discussion to the town?
Yeah.
This is a public meeting, and we now have come on the record of our reaction to this, and share that with Jim Harnett. I don't know how often he watches the YouTube of our meetings, so. maybe
Yeah,
we
no, I
can
could
point that out to him.
I could send him a letter and just say that, you
He was
met
on
with
the
us
list,
and-
someone gave me his name to call
Mhm.
too, and I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I won't if you think I should.
No,
No,
that
you
No,
should
that's the
too.
person to
yeah,
talk to.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should too, triangulate that, because
Sure.
we can make him aware that
Great.
we've
I mean, he's
seen
a
you.
town administrator, so he can orchestrate this whole thing.
Sure.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
office is right up on the second floor of Town Hall. Secretary is Paula Brown, very nice woman.
Terrific.
And you might just drop in casually.
All
Yeah.
wonderful advice.
And if you tell him that you've come before us
Yeah,
and what you want to do, and we were very favorable towards that,
Mm.
then he, again, will even work further, I
Sure.
think, because he's very aware of what we do.
sure.
And he's proactive, he's a proactive.
It's a
guy.
multi-pronged approach. you
Yes.
know. So everybody has to keep the pressure on
Yeah,
the town, her,
yeah.
you know.
This has been very, very helpful for us, and I feel sort of a support already from all you folks
Mhm.
to keep this moving ahead,
It's
which
exciting.
really gives us more
It's
sort of,
very exciting to think that.
Yeah, there was shipbuilding there at one time. It would be
Yeah, that's,
really wonderful.
this is, yeah, I mean, it's
There were
really
another-
positive.
Shipbuilding operation there, so.
well, that's great. Thanks very much. Thank you. Will, do have
Thank
anything
you,
more to
thanks
say?
for coming in.
No, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Wonderful to reconnect,
Always.
yes.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Thank you for your guidance.
Okay, any other,
You had a second item.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I don't want to nitpick or whatever, but we talked about the memorial last time, and who would have some authority to have approved it,
mhm,
and we decided we did,
mhm.
but we didn't approve it, and it's a fait accompli, and I can live with it. It's fine, but I just Betty had said a couple of years ago they had a $10,000, $12,000 grant to improve that whole thing.
Mhm.
And what we got was 6 more inches of unnecessary asphalt.
Mhm.
And, I thought they were gonna expand the site of the memorial, buck up the stones around it, put grass, make it look really nice,
Mhm.
and maybe get rid of the telephone pole. It seems to be an impossibility, but none of that happened. Just the big oversized memorial happened. And I see it every morning because I walk there in the morning, and I just
It's an
think
eyesore.
it's an eyesore. It could have been so nice. Anyway, but I can
Well,
get over it.
what group was responsible for
I
this?
think it was CPC got a grant.
Then
Well,
it
when they
we-
got the
it had to
building
go
permit?
before us.
Wait, didn't they get a building permit? Would Ralph have said,
Yes.
gee, you need
We,
a...
we have definitely authority over that, so people, that's the way it is, but it didn't happen.
No?
And I don't know why it didn't, because the people involved with it know very well that we have authority over it.
Well, can we call Betty to the next meeting and have her explain it?
Suppose you could.
I thought you might be here. They had the dedication yesterday. Did you go? Was it nice?
That's great, yeah. Very nice.
I was there.
I was there.
It's a big rock.
That's a big rock.
It's a big rock.
And a lot of blank space. What are they expecting?
They
a
expect a few
tsunami
more
or what?
names around.
We have
Some room.
GPS now.
Well,
yeah.
global warming will have
Yeah.
hurricanes.
We
Didn't
have,
say.
yeah.
Well, it's just a shame this has happened, because
Yes.
we would probably have approved it and everything would be fine, and now,
Well, I think we could have compromised,
sure,
You made some
of
changes.
course,
We would have
yeah.
had a chance to compromise.
But unfortunately, it is there.
It is.
Too bad. It's not too bad, it's fine, but it's too bad they didn't
And I,
do the,
you know, all
They
due
didn't do
The process.
the legal process, because we are in charge of any structure in the district. And it's definitely a
It's a
structure.
structure.
So if someone did this to their home and didn't follow the process, and all of a sudden, right, and we didn't notice, and there wasn't a cease and desist, and they did something, and it's a fait accompli, do we have recourse?
We do.
We do.
And so is this something that we say, okay, do we want to do something about it? Or are we saying, boy, this is unfortunate, and we say, you know, slap somebody on the hand and say, please don't do that again, and then we put it behind us?
I think,
Right, so I feel like we either have to, if it is that troublesome, then we need to act on it. Or do we just want to talk about it, say, yep, that's really crummy, and then just put it behind us and we don't talk about it again?
I think it's not that troublesome. You know, when we are, we look at anything that we do within the district as whether it has a, what's the words we use?
Congruent or
No, detrimental,
detrimental.
incongruous.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the words we use.
Mm-hmm.
And if we look at that, it's something that isn't detrimental, and it certainly is not incongruous. I mean, it fits in enough, and probably we would have approved it. It's just that they didn't give us a chance, didn't do what they should do, and so that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm. No, I can think of a number of things on the point that have happened that, you know, weren't approved as told to us that, you know, what are you gonna do, you know? Gotta make somebody repaint their entire house?
It's happened.
I know, but you gotta pick your battles too, it's, you know.
Yeah. There was I mean, the style of the stone is similar to the one that it replaced,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know the history of that previous stone.
It was done by Q.Q. Macomber.
Was that
Did
approved?
the design for it. Well, yeah,
What-
whenever,
what year?
if it needed approval, but, and you know, applause to the people who, through their own efforts, found out other people, put them on it, and, you know, much more inclusive,
Mhm.
and did the research and all that. It's good for them, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there, you know, we'll live with it.
It would be interesting to ask some of the people involved what they were thinking, because as somebody pointed out, they do know the rules, and
Well, I mean, if a certificate had been issued and they didn't follow the certificate, there is a provision that unapproved work may be subject to penalties and a cease and desist order issued by the building inspector. But that's if they have a certificate that they're in violation of. So this is an unusual, there is no certificate to be in violation of. So
yeah.
how do you assess a penalty?
Well, I mean, I mean, we're in another process.
Another whole
There was a
process.
similar thing, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, it's-
anyway, I don't.
There is something in the rules.
My personal feeling is that we don't want to fight this battle.
No.
That, I mean, it should have
We're not
come
gonna
before the
fight this
commission. It's unfortunate that it didn't, but I don't think we want to.
It
I
might be
agree- I
useful
agree.
if they did have to go through Ralph to get a building permit for that memorial
Which they
structure.
may not have.
Maybe they didn't have to, I don't know, but that's sort of our last stop, is the building department,
Right.
who can say to a person, you need to come before the commission.
There was a memorial there before, too. So
Right.
There was a history of
The history of
memorial,
it, sure,
yeah.
but they're making changes to it.
And they kind of look alike. This one's bigger and thinner.
That's what I was saying. It's the same style.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think we should just let it be and
Yep.
move on.
We'll move on, yeah.
Move on.
My vote.
I agree.
Okay,
Okay. Anything else?
No.
any other items on your list? No.
Do I hear a motion to
Motion
adjourn?
to adjourn.
Just
Oh.
one thing, the public can ask a question. You did, I was listening to the minutes thing, and you referenced an address, 1985B, which I don't think exists.
Yes, it does.
Where is it?
It's the Grog House, right? Is that the?
Well, it's
Grog
right down on the
House?
shore, yeah, right down on the
It's
shore.
with the big rock in front of it. If you go down from you, straight down, and it's a house on the left at the end. I think that's it now.
No, that's not the address I'm saying, because I just redid the signage for all of that area behind the, behind the stone wall,
Yeah.
and I was going nuts with the weirdness of the numbering.
1985 D. D is in David.
So was my hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see, we had a motion, did we have a second? Did we have a motion? Bill
Yes.
had moved to adjourn, was there a second?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
You're adjourned.